We're back on Nemo Nation with another fast-paced Fastport Studios half hour.
One of the grooviest things about being on Radio Nemo is that we get to meet a lot of friends. We get to make a lot of new friends. We get to say hello to people we haven't met before, and at the same time tell people we love, like the Touchdown and Dat Guy. Good morning. One of the great things about being at conferences is that we're guaranteed, Dave, more often than not, to meet new friends. We got a new one, do we not? Would you care to do the honors and introduce her?
Tawni Marrs is joining us right here. She's our first guest from the Trimble Conference here. We're going to learn a lot, I'm sure. In fact, I'm going to kind of decipher some alphabet soup here. Tawni knows about ML, machine learning, so I'll know that much, AI, artificial intelligence, and she focuses on R&D, which I would imagine is research and development. And she works with TMS Solutions for Transportation. TMS, Transportation Management Systems. How did I do on my alphabet soup?
Yeah, you got it. 100%.
Hold on one second. Let me just get this nice person on. Try again.
All right, yeah, you got it. It's 10 out of 10 there.
Well, welcome to the show, and thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited, and I was, really excited to see that you guys were right here in New Orleans, too.
Yeah, we're right in the same neighborhood practically, so it's good. Is this your first time to the Crescent City?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really looking for some good food.
Well, I know when you come to these conventions and everything, you hit the ground running, and then you're in the airplane again, so hopefully you'll have a little time to have some fun.
Yeah, we have tonight free, so I'm looking forward to that.
When did you get here?
That's a good question.
Well, then you're very much in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm about to say you
very much
fit
hit
the
the
bill.
ground running yesterday.
Yesterday. And what time did you get here?
About noon.
So you must have gone out someplace yesterday, or were you too busy setting the whole thing up?
Well, I ate at the airport because I was trying to get my presentation set up, so needed a little bit of quiet time and just had some lunch.
Did you eat at the New Orleans airport?
Yes.
Okay, so that's actually, you got a fighting chance to do something in New Orleans there. You remember where you ate?
It was a restaurant called Mondo there.
Oh, yeah. By the way, that's terrific. That's a pretty good restaurant,
Yeah.
actually. That's actually a local restaurant here. So
Yeah.
all the restaurants that are actually in in the New
They're
Orleans
all
airport.
iconic restaurants.
They're all
here in New
iconic
Orleans.
restaurants in the city of New Orleans. So you actually
Nice.
did okay. So they got a chance to set up over there. You got a chance to set up here to do a presentation. What's that presentation on?
I've got a couple. So today I have one on optimizing transportation workflows with, surprise, surprise, AI, large language models. And then tomorrow is a little more casual. It's actually an Ask Me Anything for data scientists. So hoping we get some good industry questions there. Love talking about transportation and data and the intersection between those.
So basically, we get an advanced preview of Ask You Anything right now.
Yes.
Fantastic. I wanted to ask you about AI and how what you're talking about using it for right now is in many ways what a lot of people think the real future of AI is. That it's not helping anybody write the great American novel. It's not going to be used to make people, more presentable in their own language, but it really is terrific for organizing and figuring things out at a lot faster rate than a human being can. That you can just simply enter the data, but you have to actually know it yourself. That's the big argument that people who are in favor of AI are saying. You can't just not know what you're prompting it to do.
Uh-huh.
How am I doing?
Yeah, no, that's spot on. And, that's really kind of getting into specifically the large language model portion of this. I definitely think that there's a role to be played for those. I also tend to lean more towards the generalist point of view whenever it comes to anything to do with machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's not a one tool in the toolbox kind of situation. There's many other tools, and they're not going to the wayside. They're taking a spot, on the sidelines for now, but realistically, large language models, they're not going to be able to cover everything that needs to be done. I mean, there's right now there's too much of a complexity in the industry that can't even really be captured with any sort of machine at this time. So, yeah.
You follow all that, Dave? You got all that?
Almost, possibly, kind of, getting there.
Well, the thing it comes down to, if I'm understanding you correctly, is saying that this is a really great application in terms of a generalist approach. The idea that you can look at a whole bunch of different stuff, but to proclaim it an expert in one particular thing is just not the way this works. And to think that you can rely on it to do the stuff, that you don't have to master a subject in order to be able to, that AI can then deliver you from that. It's the same thing with driving. The idea that all of the bells and whistles on a truck are no substitute for a good driver, and all of the AI in the world in regards to a generalist approach or that long form, it doesn't work if the person actually doesn't understand logistics, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to ask you, in regards to the future of freight, what kind of impact, and we talk to drivers over here, what kind of impact will AI in its current form and then a couple years down the line have directly on the men and women who drive these trucks? From your perspective, and you can speculate and be wrong, we're all going to be wrong 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, thanks for giving me that. Yeah, that's an interesting question because I honestly usually look more at the back office side.
Right.
So, thinking about the driver first. So I think that kind of ties in with something that I'm going to be talking about in my session here, which is that the industry is only going to continue to be more automated over time. And so then that's going to create kind of a more of a hyper optimization scenario. And if I'm thinking about the driver's impact to that, I'd like to think that it would help get them more reliable freight and being able to forecast out what they're going to be doing, more than a few days in advance, up to, maybe a week in advance, and be able to have the stability there.
Well, and that sets up, by the way, really nicely independent operators, Dave, by the way. I mean, if you think about that, is that means these guys often who plan a week, the best of the bunch plan 2 weeks ahead, really know what they're doing. You're talking about 4, 5, 6 weeks. You're also talking about less wait time because the AI can then figure out what the best time to arrive at the location to get yourself unloaded. That's it can look at the data, Dave, that you could say, like, here's the, when you see that when you type in directions on a GPS and it tells you what the traffic is like in a particular area? Mm-hmm. Are we talking about something that's as clever as saying you don't want to deliver it right there and then?
I'm an old guy. When I started my radio
in case you didn't notice,
none of what is on this table existed except for the microphones. None of these computers, none of these broadcast gear, it's all new technology. Mm-hmm. Does the same thing, but in a completely different way. Trucking, same thing. From my perspective, and from guys my age who have been in this industry for so long, it seems like overnight somebody flipped a switch, and trucking went from analog to digital, if you will. Broadcasting did that. I was there when that happened. So my question to you is, did it happen overnight? I mean, how did we get to where we are? How did artificial intelligence and machine learning enter into trucking? It seems like it happened like 20 minutes ago.
And then I have a follow-up question for that as well.
And do you hear that a lot from people my age, so to speak?
I've definitely heard, about the skepticism, and I think a lot of what maybe you're referencing is the onset of specifically the large language models that feel like they really have, flipped a switch there, and it's just on and go and investing, and, there's no slowing it down at this point. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's really anything new. So one of the first things that I got familiar with whenever I came into transportation was operations research, which has been around for decades at this point. And so I think it's just kind of the natural evolution of trying to, human nature, to want to make things more efficient over time.
I want to follow it up really quickly by saying, first of all, you answered my question, but I do want to talk about the fact that we're on this floor right now. What are you most looking forward to at this conference?
Well, there's quite a few exciting AI features coming out in the keynote that you should be looking out for. And then one of the things taking a twist on AI, not just a direct AI product or feature, but there's a session on how to harness AI for change management. So it's flipping the script and putting the human or the employee first and helping to understand how to get adoption for employees, because they're getting AI shoved down their throats, and they need to be on board. They need to understand it, and so it's talking about that change management process.
Yeah, and it really is a matter of messaging too. One of these drives me crazy is don't tell people, or control. People aren't controlling the narrative. The most out of control thing in regards to AI, I think, right now is not AI, it's the narrative. And that the inability to control the narrative, you got people spooked beyond belief. My favorite line, of course, is you're not going to lose your job to AI, you're going to lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI.
Yeah.
Is the much better kind of phraseology here, and I think a much more hopeful one. It's the narrative that has been kind of lost here.
Tawni, one of the things you said too, you said two words that really stood out to me. You said it's human nature to do what we're doing here with AI and machine learning and computers and automation and the cloud. It is human nature to want to improve things. That's how we got to where we could do what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Everything has been improving since day one, and now we're moving into a completely different sphere, but on the foundation of what we've already built. So you gave me some more insight there. It's not I think guys who are analog age basically think machine age is the enemy, and they're trying to destroy us and do away with everything we've done. I understand more now from those two words you just said, human nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can say one final.
Oh yeah, you got time.
Yeah, I think too it's kind of like a flywheel is an analogy that I use here, and so a flywheel, whenever you take one turn of the wheel, it actually accelerates the next wheel. So over time, it just kind of continually accelerates and gets momentum as it goes, and I think that's what technology in general is doing for transportation and the world as a whole, to be honest.
Leonardo da Vinci would feel right at home here, wouldn't he?
Dave Nemo, Andre Thibodeau, our good friend Madison with a T, is over at the Fastport Studios at the Edgar Degas House. Dave, would you care to say goodbye to our friend, tell people who we've been talking to?
I don't want to say goodbye. We just met. But, Tawni, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for a lot of insight. And you really opened my eyes to something here in a very low-key way about the future.
Thank you. Again, I really appreciate it. And yeah, the topics were great. I like the questions about the old school days and driver-centric questions. So thank you again.
You got it. And by the way, really quickly, tell people where they can go to find out more about what it is you do.
What it is I do.
No, I mean just on the website. What's your website?
What's my website?
Yeah.
I don't have a website.
No.
Trimble Transportation.
That's what I wanted you to give, by the way. Well, by the way, we achieved what I hope to achieve, that she considers us friends, and we made a new friend today, and that's pretty terrific. Thank you, Tawni, so much, by the way.
Thank you.
We're going to take a moment here, take a breath for a second as we get our next guest in here. Guys, you're always welcome to send us a call at 615-292-6366.
Nemo, N-E-M-O.